welcome to today's class, number 4 in the series of classical mat flow sequences that I'm doing. We're going to do the first 12 in the order that they were meant to be done and see how that feels. Okay, so let's take the feet wide. Let's, as always, just get mobilised before we do anything else. So double shoulder rolls going backwards, double shoulder rolls coming forwards. Some singles, allowing that rib cage to rotate around, but I'm keeping my hips quite still for the moment. And then singles coming forwards, letting the arms hang. Brilliant. Let's take a low figure of 8, sweeping the backs of the hands towards each other, opening up the chest. We're trying to just move that collarbone. When we're standing nice and tall, collarbone's a nice straight line. We're rounding it forwards, rounding it backwards. Brilliant. Popping the hands on the shoulders. Let's take some elbow circles. So now I'm allowing my rib cage to join in a little bit more. I'm letting the rib cage flare, changing direction. And then I'm going to keep my elbows up and bring the elbows forwards as I shift the rib cage back, open the elbows out as I shift the ribs forwards. Ribs going back, ribs going forwards. I'm rocking my weight a little bit, well, my weight is rocking backwards onto the heels, forwards onto the balls of the feet. Let's just take the arms out to the side and gently take that rib cage side to side. Just bending the knee that you're reaching towards, so it's not too strong. And then let's clasp the hands, circle the arms all the way around. I'm going as far as I can to the side, as far as I can forwards to the other side, and then brushing past my chest on the way in. From above, this is the biggest circle I can make, changing direction. And now I'm thinking about trying to get that rib cage to go in the opposite direction. Arms out to the side, ribs to the opposite side. When the arms are forwards, the ribs are back, side and side, and then when the arms come in, the rib cage comes forwards. Circling around. And relaxing a moment. Popping the hands on the ribs to keep them nice and still. Lifting the rib cage off of the hips, circling the hips around now. Nice and free with those hips. Lengthening the spine as we go. Let's come back to that great big circle of the arms and the hands, and let's take the hips in the opposite direction now. So as the hips go back, the arms come forwards. Arms to the side, hips to the side, draw them past each other. And now we're taking a great big circle. And then the other way. The other way requires a little bit of concentration going on there. Excellent. Okay, feet and knees together. Bend your knees, fingertips to your knees to start with, and just circling those knees around. Yes, this is about the knees, or we're thinking about the knees, but it's actually feet and ankles as well. Putting the fingertips to the knees just so that you're at a medium height. Maybe trying that same thing, come up a little bit higher. I've just put my hands on my hips. Thinking of circling the knees, but the legs are a little bit straighter. If you can, I know I can't really because my heels would come off too much, but maybe go a little bit lower than we just were. And trying to keep those knees together, feet and knees together. Yeah, that makes me go onto the balls of my feet. So that's probably as low as I can actually go because my Achilles are quite tight. Standing on one leg, circling the ankle around. While we're doing that, let's circle those wrists. And changing direction. I'm doing some sea anemones with my fingers. I'm circling at the wrist. I'm allowing my toes to really relax and squish over, Getting that ankle to go as far around and be as relaxed as possible. Changing legs, changing feet. So thinking about the ankle primarily, but also getting a little bit of stuff going on at the wrists. Although I'm just looking at the list. This first half doesn't really use the wrist that much. In fact, I don't think we use the wrists at all. Whereas the second half, interestingly, which will be the next class, will uses the wrist quite a lot. Interesting there. Okay, maybe standing on one leg, circling around a little bit more. Keep those fingers going. Brilliant. Let's keep the legs nice and wide and the knees soft. Let's think about the side seams of the torso. Just gently reaching down the side. Great. Starting to lift the other arm up. Lifting the elbow up nice and high. Lift the elbow up all the way to the ceiling. Straighten that arm. Just stretch the arm across. Take a little roll round to the middle and then roll up in the middle. Over to the other side. Elbow comes up nice and high. At that point, relax the hand. Take the arm straight up. Stretch across. Just the movement of that arm across. You'll notice that extra stretch. Relax into the middle. Roll up through the middle. Let's do one more of those each side. So flowing, check your breathing, make sure you're not holding the breath. This time let's come all the way down to the floor and roll up through the spine. One more over to the other side. Elbow, straight arm, stretch across, relax, bend the knees. Let's stay here a moment. Hanging from the waist. And I'm bending and straightening my legs, nodding my head, shaking my head, wiggling my shoulders around a little bit. Maybe transferring the weight from side to side, just while I adjust my sock. And then rolling up through the spine. I've just realised there's actually no mobilising in my warm-up, mobilising of the spine, articulation of the spine on this warm-up for this class, but actually there's quite a lot in the class. So let's just do a couple of roll downs. I'm going to go sideways, chin onto the chest, follow that spider across the floor, keep the pelvis in neutral, let the arms hang, soften the knees, and then rolling up through the spine, unravelling all the way. Let's change this around. Look up to the ceiling, this time bend your knees, stick your bottom out. Find that sumo squat position on your legs, unravel your spine all the way down, hands down to the floor, rolling up again. Articulating through, taking that lovely pelvic tilt. Let's do one more of those. Look up, arch the back, fix your legs here, and then unravel all the way down, let those arms hang. Strongly tuck that pelvis under, push the pubic bone forwards, really scoop that tummy in, unravelling. That's going to be a really important movement as we are moving on into the class. Great, let's do a little bit of just rotation, keeping the head facing forwards to start with, shoulders, hips, ankles, rotating around that central line of your spine. First rhyme of class, woohoo! And then look behind you all the way, nice and gently, still mobilising. My shoulder crunching a bit today for some reason. Perfect. Okay, we're going to do some standing abdominal curls. So in preparation for our 100, which is the first one of our 12 that we're going to do today, I'm going to go sideways. My feet are hip width apart, hands are at the back of the head, bringing the elbows forwards, pushing the head into the hands. As I do this, in fact I'm going to face forwards a moment, as I do this I'm bracing, I'm setting my torso up to be nice and fixed and rigid. In fact, let's just do that on its own first of all. Feet are hip width apart, I'm pushing the head into the hands, lifting the shoulders up, sliding the shoulder blades down in the back, pushing into the floor with the soles of my feet, actually pushing down and trying to lift up, trying to lengthen my tailbone down, lift the crown of the head up, pushing that head back and up to the corner behind me, the ceiling, where the ceiling and the wall meet. Holding that there a moment, connecting the rib cage to the hips. Focusing on the breathing. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Where's that breath going? Hasn't really got anywhere else to go other than expanding sideways in the ribs. We don't want the lower abdomen to start getting involved. We want to keep that area nice and strong and still. Brilliant. And then we're going to come back to that arm position, but just place a hand here at the front of your ribs. And imagine there's a line around here, and you're going to crease your ribs over. So you're going to fold over and then come back to upright. Folding over. Keeping those ribs still, keeping the pelvis still, nothing is changing. Place the hands at the back of the head and neck. Do that same thing. The upper body doesn't change. I'm folding over those ribs. I'm hinging here. If my torso was a piece of paper, I'm creating a fold from one side of my body to the other along here, where I just have my hand. There's no change in the upper body. So I'm not letting the chin drop, I'm not letting the chin lift when I come upright. I'm continuing to push the head into the hands. Great. Same thing, but going backwards. So I'm going to put my hand, and I can only do it with this side because my shoulder's too tight on the other side, but across my sort of bra strap, the base of the shoulder blades, and then I'm going to go up and back now. So I'm lifting the chest. In fact, if you put your hand on the chest as well, from a level eye line, we're lifting up, we're looking up. I'm imagining that I'm really going up and parallel to the floor. I'm not, because that would be too much movement. Notice in your feet, is the weight transferring forwards and backwards onto the balls and the heels of the feet? Hopefully not. We just want that little lift in the upper body. Then place the hands at the back of the head. So now we're making our fold in our paper at the back from an upright position, lifting up and over, as if there's a bar across your back, like a ballet bar or a railing or something, and it's just where that arm was, and you're leaning and up and over that, but the rest of your body is staying still. So there's no shift in the weight forwards or backwards through the feet. Perfect. Come to face forwards. If you weren't already, we probably already were, but I'm going to face forwards. So same thing, we're going to join up that fold with the side seam. So elbows are forwards. I'm still pushing my head into my hands, and I'm just going to the side, through the centre and to the side. My crease, my fold is here now. It's joining up the fold that I've made at the front and the back. Brilliant, an equal amount each side. Great, and then we're going to go all the way round. I'm turning sideways again. So forwards, round to the side, up and to the back, round to the other side, and finishing forwards, changing direction. Side, up and back, side and forwards. One more each way. Keep the breathing nice and even. Try not to hold the breath. This is quite strong. Go as far as you can. Again, you're trying to keep head and shoulders all in that same relationship all the way through. So that was rolling all the way round. Oh, okay. We have got some roll downs. I liked. Just noticed that. I'm going to face forwards. So feet outside your shoulder width apart, rolling down, mobilising the spine. So we've already done a couple of these. Let's just hang from the waist, Bend and straighten those legs again. Hamstring length, as you know, is very key to be able to do the classical mat work properly. And let's lift our shoulders up a little bit. So if you're already flattish hands, that's great. But if you can, just lift your shoulders up to fingertips facing or touching the floor. And then bend one knee, straighten that leg, bend the other knee, straighten the leg. So you might be able to see, if you're looking, yes, that my hips drop. On the bent leg side, that hip drops down. It looks like the other one goes up, but it basically stays where it was. And then, continuing with that movement, bring your palms together, maybe lift the chest up a little bit more. I'm going to bend one leg, and then I'm going to sweep the straight leg arm out to the side and lift it all the way up to the ceiling. So we're getting that nice rotation. Coming back to palms together, straighten both legs. Bend the other knee, let that hip drop, and then the shoulders will open out and then go beyond that tilt of the pelvis. So bend the knee, open out fully to the side. Your palm is facing the side as well. This should feel quite nice, don't get stuck. Couple more. Make sure the bent knee is staying over the toes, over towards the little toe, and then relax in the middle, bend both knees and roll up through the spine. We've already done our articulation. Fantastic. Let's bring the feet a little bit closer together. We're going to come into turnout. So you're going to pitch forward slightly onto the balls of the feet and bring your heels together, turning the legs out in the hip socket. So I'm not twiddling at the ankles. And for me, this is a little bit narrow. So my feet are slightly too close together, because when I bring my heels together, I feel like I've got a little bit more to go, if you like. So I'm going to take my feet slightly further apart, lift up onto the heels, that's better. So that's my natural turnout. I'm not forcing anything at the knee or the ankle, but from this position, pitching forwards onto the balls of the feet, bring those heels together, it's coming from up here. I'm using my turnout muscles to reach that. Then I'm looking down, I'm checking the symmetry between both legs, equally turned out. I'm already feeling a bit of an activation, inside thighs, pelvic floor, gluteal fold, basically the turnout muscles. Then I'm going to transfer my weight onto the balls of my feet and just very gently lift my heels up. And it's not a great big full rise. That would be me coming up into a full rise. My ankles are lifted as high as they can be. It's actually, I'm trying to keep my heels together. I am maintaining my heels are staying together, which means that you don't go very far. Now, if I've got slightly bow legs, so the shape of my legs works for this. If you find when you come into this position that you've got one knee pushing in front of the other and it's really uncomfortable to get the heels together, absolutely fine. Just make sure the legs are turned out evenly. It might be your knees, sorry, it might be your calves that are touching. That's absolutely fine. Make sure they're even. So evenly turned out, you haven't got one trying to get in front of the other, and just take that little lift. Good. If you can, let's flex the hands a moment. Bring the arms up at the side, drop the hands forwards, elbows are on top, curl the arms round. So we're just holding that position with the legs, just heels are down now. I'm bringing the arms forwards. This is our ballet arms. This is how I teach my ballet arms. We've got a nice rounded position. I could be really mean and ask you to hold your arms out here all the time, but we're just going to bring them forward, so like you're hugging a tree or someone really rotund, and then we're just going to lower those arms. So elbows are out to the side, arms are nice and rounded, and then we're lifting up those heels again. This time we're going to take some pulses. Knees going over the toes. 10 pulses down. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's strong. Stay up if you can. You can put your heels down if you need to. 10 more pulses, but focus on straightening the legs. Straightening. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the heels. Ooh, release everything and have a little bit of a funny walk around just to release those muscles. So we're basically doing some preps for all of the work that's required for the classical mat stuff. So yeah, that was all about pelvic floor. One last one in our warm-up, my dance stretches, which are very much to come into play when we do number 12, the saw. So we're going to take one arm up to the ceiling, get that arm by your ear if you can, and just lengthen the other arm down by your side. Turn your shoulders only to one corner, flat back forwards, or neutral spine forwards I should say, trying to keep that arm up by your ear, pinning the other arm by your side. Relax all the way down towards that leg that you were just turning towards. Hang on to the lower leg, try and get your head onto your knee. Hold everything there, then bend the other knee. If your legs are far enough apart, you should feel a stretch on the straight leg on the inside thigh and groin. Take the same arm as the straight leg up towards the ceiling. There's that rotation we did earlier, but just a bit stronger. Bend the knees, relax in the middle, roll up through the spine. Maybe take those legs a little bit wider if you didn't feel that inside thigh stretch. One arm up, one arm down. Turn your shoulders only. I'm actively pushing this hip forwards. Lengthen forwards, lift out through the crown of the head, relax down. So 2 hamstring stretches there. The second one is as strong as the first one. And then we're bending the other knee. So that stretch changes from the hamstring to the inside thigh. Opening that shoulder up towards the ceiling, turning and looking, palm facing the side of the room, not allowing that knee to roll in, the bent knee, and then relax in the middle and roll up through the spine. Good job. Great. We are coming down to the floor. We're going to be on our backs for the first of 12, which is the 100. Roll down to be on my back for the 100. So seated with my feet and knees hip width apart, sitting right up on those sit bones, hands underneath the backs of the knees, a nice scoop in that lower tummy, which is what is going to come in handy in a moment. Rolling all the way down, trying to unravel vertebrae by vertebrae, and then coming into your base position. We're going to do the 100. Obviously it takes 100 counts to do this. But everything else we're doing today in this series of 12 of the classical mat series, there are only a few, but they're meant to be done with really good quality. So we're going to, it'll feel like we're whizzing through everything a little bit, but that's fine. Think about your base position, connect the rib cage to the hips, lift pelvic floor, draw the lower belly towards the spine. Think about the shape of your pelvis, the shape of your upper back. Are all your ribs nice and relaxed into the floor? For the 100 today, I'm going to, you could do it with your feet flat, or you could do it with legs in tabletop. I'm going to work in tabletop today. Remember, knees are directly above the hips. I'm going to have my knees slightly apart, my feet together. I'm going to take my arms up to the ceiling, and then I'm going to tuck my chin in, clear my shoulder blades. I'm having a little rock from side to side. So my shoulder blades are actually off of the mat. I'm in a neutral pelvis. And here we go. Breathing, we're pulsing the arms. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 10. In. Out, 20. In. Out, 30. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 40. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 50. If you can, carry on at that same pace. Counting for yourself, 60 roughly, 70, 80, 90, and 100, and relax down. Place those feet down, stretching the legs out. Fantastic. Our next movement is the roll up. So I'm going to go from here, extending my arms over above my head, tucking my chin in as I bring the hands up in front of my face, rounding, rolling, and lifting up to the top. So a nice upright spine, right up on those sit bones. Relaxed feet and knees are hip width apart again. And we're going to take 5 roll ups. So here, there's that scoop of the tummy, rolling all the way down, trying to control it. Last time in the last video, we looked at having a magic top. I haven't got my magic top or cushion today, so it's a little bit more clunky for me, although that one was slightly smoother. This is number 3. So if you need to, throw the arms a little bit in order to help you come up. So that was me throwing the arms. Otherwise, if you can, rolling all the way down and coming back. I'm going to do one more for luck, just so that I can get smoothness going, or maybe not. This is tough. Brilliant. I'm going to shuffle forward slightly, rolling down one more time. We're now into our single leg circles. So coming down, bending the knees, come back into your base position. So single leg circles, I'm going to use the leg closest to the camera first. So bending one knee, extending that leg up to the ceiling, if you can. Otherwise you can do this with your, thinking about your kneecap taking the circle. Slide the other leg away along the floor and flex that foot. Push that heel into the floor a little bit. Maybe elbows on the floor, spatula hands on your hips. Maybe turning the leg out in the hip socket and then circling 5 times around your hip bone. Ideally, no rocking and rolling in that pelvis. I'm doing an equal circle around my hip bone today. Last time I did a bit of a capital D, and I went across, as I went across I let the hip lift up. I'm trying to keep both hips really stable today. Bending that leg, foot on the floor, draw the other leg in, lift that one, second leg into knee fold, slide the first leg along the floor, flex the foot, leg straight up to the ceiling if you can. Turning it out might just help to be a little less grippy in the hip socket. And circling around. I'm trying to be conscious that my ribs aren't flaring. 5 circles, an equal circle with that hip bone, cramp in the foot, that hip bone in the centre of the circle, noticing the weight through your elbows, through your shoulders. Are those hips rocking and rolling? Is something strange going on with that straight leg that's meant to be supporting you? Still cramping the foot, bend that knee and bending the other knee in. Fantastic. We are now into rolling like a ball. I'm going to keep my legs bent actually for this one, but stretch my feet a little bit further away. I'm going to throw to come up and then sit up nice and tall. So rolling like a ball, this whole next section actually, we're wanting to have that really nice rounded spine, that seated, that C curve from the top of your head to your sacrum. Remember, it comes from that scooping the tummy in. I'm going to keep my legs in nice and tight. I'm holding on to one wrist with the other hand, coming into a balance. So I've gone past my sit bones. I'm on my sacrum. I'm looking at towards my pubic bone, taking a breath in, and as I take a breath out, just allowing that pelvis to tip, and I just overshot a little bit there on the way up. That's better. breath in as I'm coming back up, trying to keep my legs, my body, I can't actually look at the camera because it changed everything, in that same shape. I'm going to do one more, so about 6 of these, making a bit of a clunk on the floor actually, but that's partly my curve in my lower back. Yeah, perfect. From there, staying nice and rounded, I'm going to pull one knee in, I'm going to lower myself down to the floor. We're going into our single leg stretch. The shape of my spine is exactly the same. I'm going opposite hand to knee, same arm as that leg, reaching down the outside to pull that knee in, keeping it nice and straight, feet beautifully pointed, and we're switching and switching and switching. No change in the torso. Let's do another 6 of these. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is next? Double leg stretch. Let's have a little break. Just drop the head down, roll the knees from side to side. Anything that you feel the need to do will be the right thing for your body. This work is all tough on the neck, but the idea is to keep those shoulders really lifted so that the head is above your shoulders. Okay, double leg stretch. Let's go for the advanced version. Again, my spine is still in that shape. I'm taking my arms up, my legs out, and I'm circling around for 5 more. Breath out, breath in, breath out, breath in. No change in the torso. One more for luck. I'm rubbish at counting, as you have probably realised now. And rolling down. Again, hugging those knees in, rolling the hips from side to side if that feels nice, letting the head roll from side to side. That was our double leg stretch. Single straight leg stretch, which I call advanced scissors. Also still called sometimes single straight leg lowers. This is a really nice hamstring stretch. So we're going to take one leg along the floor. We're going to block the top leg at 90 degrees and really block it. So I'm actually putting my hands in front of my knee and my shin. I've got my feet pointed. We're going to switch the legs. 3, 2, 1, and then I'm going to flex both feet. Take hold of the back of that calf and draw the leg in. Reset at 90 degrees. 3, 2, 1. Flex and drawing in. And reset. 3, 2, 1. Flex the feet, drawing in. My shoulder blades are cleared. Tucking my chin in. Last set. Drawing that leg in and relaxing down. Good job. The next one has our hands behind the back of our head and neck, which is quite handy because by now that neck will be getting a little bit sore potentially. So the head is fully supported in the hands and the elbows are forwards. The full version is lowering, so double straight leg stretch, double straight leg lowers, opening up the angle at the hips. I'm going to do 3 of those. Spine is in neutral or imprinted. Another variation of this is to have the legs bent, just open up the thighs away. I'm going to do 3 of these. Everything is quivering a little bit. And placing the feet down, unravelling. Good work. It's a strong abdominal section. We're finishing off. So these are the sort of Pilates 5 abdominal exercises. Quite often my Pilates teacher does these one after the other. We're going to finish off with Criss Cross, which is your single leg stretch with that nice addition of the obliques. Hands again are at the back of the head, but you might not be able to interlace your fingers. We're going for here. You're turning that upper body, trying to keep the legs nice and straight, the hips straight, There's no rolling. Let's add another 10 to this if you've joined in with me. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hug those knees in. Let's place the feet on the floor. Take the arms up and over. Have a throw to get the body nice and upright, because our next three actually are back up into this position. So we're seated with the legs hip width apart. This is our spine stretch forward. So we're trying to stretch all along the back line of the body. Going from here with the feet nice and flexed, sitting upright on those sit bones. Taking the chin onto the chest, rounding forwards, drawing those ribs in, a little bit like how we did when we were standing for those standing abdominal curls. And then I'm reaching forwards, it does what it says on the tin, but I'm not allowing my pelvis to move. I'm pulling my hips back a little bit. I'm pulling my tummy in nice and tight. Lengthening so my fingertips are past my toes, relaxing the head down, keeping the shoulders down, taking a couple of breaths here. Feeling that breath go into the ribs at the back, and again. And this time stacking the vertebrae. We're just going to do one more of those. So chin onto the chest, roll down through the spine. It's like someone's pulling your arms forwards, and at the same time they've got their arm wrapped around your waist, they're pulling you back from your waist. The pelvis stays absolutely still. Ideally, the arms are by the ears, but the shoulders aren't by the ears. The shoulders are down in your back. Taking a couple of breaths in and out. Feeling that lovely expansion of the ribs on the in-breath in your back. And relaxing there a moment. Perfect. I'm going to open up the legs. Maybe as wide as your yoga mat, maybe just shoulder width apart. And we're going into open leg rocker, which is a little bit like this position that we've just done, apart from you're holding on to your ankles. So I'm going to tuck my pelvis under and straighten out the legs. So it's also like a combination of rolling like a ball. Sometimes a little bit easier. So legs are straight. I'm hanging on to my ankles or my lower leg. My arms are nice and straight. And then I'm just allowing my spine to hang back a little bit. And then from there, just looking down and rolling back. And whoopsie, overshooting to come back up. So ideally, we're controlling that rolling back and there. And this time when you come up, once you've found that tipping point for your balance, try and lift the chest. So I don't do the teaser, but if you were working towards the teaser, this is the sensation that you want. The chest lifted, but that pelvis tucked under. Nice, strong control. It's tough. Okay, I didn't have enough oomph then to come up. And another two. And there you go. This can be done with bent legs as long as you fix them in the same position. So the legs can be bent here, but just I like to do it with nice straight legs. Wonderful. Okay, it feels like the right thing to do. I want to bring my legs forwards. I want to lean forwards now. And we've got the saw. So luckily for us, that's the last one we're doing today. So arms are out to the side. We're turning, let's have the feet flexed. We're turning towards one knee, chest towards that knee, and then we're soaring. We're reaching towards that knee, soaring your little toe side of your foot with your little finger, tucking the other arm in. You'll naturally look behind you. 3 pulses, 2, 3, and come up through the centre. rotation, keeping the legs still, lengthening forwards, 3, 2, 1, looking behind you. Another way I would quite like to describe this, let's do one more each side, is thumbs up on the front hand, thumb down on the back hand. And lifting, rotating, trying to keep the legs still, sit bones equally weighted. I'm going to do one more each side on this, I'm quite enjoying this one today. 3, 2, 1, and coming up. When I'm saying 3, 2, 1 on, those are also pulses and breaths out, and then a breath in to come through the centre. And have a little relax. Well done. Finishing off, as always in my classes, if you haven't done before, a good old wiggle about. Wiggle about on all fours. Let's do all of the stuff that we weren't sort of allowed to do, if you like, in the classical mat stuff. It feels a little bit rigid sometimes for me, so I enjoy just sort of finishing off moving around as much as possible. I'm going to lift my hips up, come into that nice downward dog, do some bear walks forwards and backwards, bend one knee, keep the other leg straight to stretch the calf. That's always the thing that I really like to do more than anything. I'm going to take my legs across for a sexy bear, and whew, finishing off there. That is number 4 of the classical mat series. Number 5 is on its way very soon, and I look forward to seeing you again.